Good morning, Chris. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did Kevin Durant redeem himself with last night's performance?
Jen, I feel like this is a trick question. And I can't wait to hear what Skip and Shannon say, because I'm wondering if any of them disagree with me. But on a scale of 1 to 10, a 1. On a scale of 0 to 10, a 0. I mean, seriously, like, there's only one thing Kevin Durant could have done to redeem himself from games 1, 2, and 3. And that is not just to win last night's game, but to win the series 4 games to 3. That's it. Nothing else. He scored 39 points. Okay, he was 13 for 31. That's 42%. He was 3 for 11 from 3. He missed the critical free throw with 22 seconds left. And I know the way that play ended wasn't his fault, but that essentially ended the game the way that play ended, and they got a score for Boston on the other end. So, no, Kevin Durant didn't redeem himself at all. I don't care if he had shot 60 or 70% from the floor. He didn't redeem himself. And if he had, say, a phenomenal game, 39 points on efficient shooting, and they win, as a Nets fan, I almost would have been upset because I would have been like, where was this in games 1, 2, and 3? Because 3 of those 4 games at least, 1, 2, and 4, were there for the taking. They were there for the taking, and if you had told me before the series started that these games are going to be close, they're going to be decided in the final minutes, I would have bet on KD and Kyrie, the veteran superstars with championship rings who've both done it on the big stage, over Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, 25 and 24 years old, who've never been to the finals. And instead, it was the absolute reverse. In the fourth quarters of these games, which all were close, KD was 8 for 23, 35% shooting. So, no, he did not redeem himself one iota with that performance last night in my book.
Well, I'm glad we finally agreed, but I gave it a 1 also, because there's no redemptive quality in losing and getting swept in the process. Yes, he gets credit for 39 points, but it took him 31 shots. Now, we've seen performances like this before. You remember games 5 and 6 when they were up 3-1, Chris? He went 10 of 31, 12 of 31, and now in this game he goes 13 of 31. And had he had C- games in 1 and 2, they win those games.
Yep.
All they had, when Kyrie went haywire in game 1, if he gives you a C- game, don't even give us an A, because if he gave us an A game, they'd have blew Boston out with the way Kyrie went bonkers in the fourth quarter. If he gives you a C- game in games 1 and 2, they win those games. But he gave you F performances, and they lost. And he turns around and gives you this. And like you said, he missed a free throw that would have made the game a 1-point game, and then he just stands there flat-footed. They throws the ball over his head. They get a layup. Now they make it a 4-point game, and he missed 3 crucial shots. Yep. So for me, absolutely not. He shoots 39% from the series, 33% from the 3, and I don't know if you noticed this, Chris, but Jason Tatum outplayed him up and down. Up and down. He took a tough assignment in guarding Kevin Durant, and then put that work in last night on in the series on the offensive end. So, no, this notion of going down, he went down with his ship, both at the bottom. Now, if you want to see somebody redemptive, give me Captain Sullenberger, who landed that plane in the Hudson. That's redemptive, because everybody got off that plane alive. That's a redemptive quality. Not that what Kevin Durant did last night, Skip Bayless. That show got the best player on the planet. I snook a Chris out of a $100 gift card from Jersey Mike, and I got you for 3 cases because all my people on Twitter say, Shannon, he tried to get you for 10, and you only got him for 3. No. So you got your little 2. I got 2 because you got 1 last night.
You read Twitter far too much.
No, Skip, you know.
You can't believe anything Twitter says.
Hey, DJ, nigga, I need y'all to verify this. You owe me 3 cases for this series.
Okay. Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
Okay.
Defend your guy.
I didn't give Kevin Durant an F for the first 3 games. I gave him a G, as in God awful, as in good Lord, have mercy on all of our souls. That was Kevin Durant. Nobody has defended and supported Kevin Durant any more than I have.
True.
Since his days back at the University of Texas, and I despise the University of Texas because I'm an Oklahoma Sooner, but I loved Kevin at Texas. And I loved him up until game 1 of this series, and I cannot defend one shred of this. So back to what I said yesterday, I told you on this show, he needs to score 55 points tonight. And you laughed because it seemed impossible after what we'd seen before. But he needed to go score 55, and they needed to win the game. And if they had done just that, off a 55-point performance on a scale of 0 to 10 or 1 to 10 of how do we now, is he redemptive?
Yeah.
Well, he would be a 4 on that scale. But to Chris's point, then he'd need to go do it in game 5 and game 6 and game 7 to go back up to 7, 8, 9, maybe even up to 10 in redemption.
Well, he get a 50. If he comes back from 0-3, if he comes down from 0-3, skip and win 4-3 when it's never been done before, he gets a 50. It ain't a 10, it's a 50.
Okay, now from my answer last night to Chris's point, I'm going to 0 on the scale because there was no redemption. Because actually what happened last night, the attack mode that we saw from Kevin Durant, was an indictment of games 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
Where was the attack mode? And furthermore, what do I love the most about Kevin Durant? He's the greatest mid-range jump shooter I've ever seen because from 14, 15, 16 feet, it is automatic money in your bank.
Right.
It's what he does. It's where he lives. And last night, he missed 18 shots, to Chris's points, 13 out of 31, 18 missed shots. I had 10 of those shots bankable, where he got looks that he hasn't gotten in any of the first 3 games because he didn't attack. Because he saw a double coming. Oh, my God, I got to shrink over here, and then I got to try to pass the ball, and it's going to be knocked up in the air because I'm not that great of a passer anyway, and I'm a little careless with the basketball, and his turnovers were appalling, and in the end, his turnovers helped cost them the series. I have never seen Kevin Durant miss more open shots in a playoff game than that. Well, you remember the masterpieces last year in games 5 and 7 against Milwaukee. He just money, money, money. Because that's what he does in big playoff games. And I thought game 5 was all-time, and game 7, up until overtime, was pretty terrific.
Well, Chris, I think you agree with me on this one. Had Jason Tatum not gotten in foul trouble, because what happened, Tatum picked up those 2 quick fouls, and Jaylen Brown and some of these other guys had to guard him. Because if you look at Kevin Durant, when Jason Tatum was guarding him, he was 3 of 18 as Tatum as his closest defender. Jason Tatum He did as good a job, if not the best job anybody has ever done on Kevin Durant.
I've never seen a better job.
Tony Allen, P.J. Tucker, nobody. But those guys don't have the offensive weaponry.
But they don't have the length he has either.
So
because PJ's only like 6'5".
6'5". Yeah. And so as Jason Tatum said, look, we need you to neutralize. We need you to make it very, very difficult on Kevin Durant. But we still need somewhere between 25 and 30 from you.
Yep.
And he gave it to him. But you're right, Skip. This is an indictment. Because had he been as aggressive in the first 3 games as he was last night, we might be having a different discussion. Because as soon as he called a double team coming, he put his head down, he went baseline, he elevated. Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm not going to even let y'all get to me. Before, as soon as I see it coming, I know, and I'm doing this. But, this ain't no redemptive quality.
Yeah, I mean, to some degree in this series, Durant's cape has been torn off. I mean, it really has because, you know, a lot of people, and you've heard former players talk about, in the 90s, how could they guard Kevin Durant, a 7-footer with this, with that? He got a little taste, because you guys know that's not as physical as they played in the 90s.
Absolutely not.
But he got a little taste of it. And he struggled and skipped. I hadn't seen, his 18 straight misses, but that was a bit eye-opening. And the fact is, he was hearing footsteps.
He was.
Because, like Shannon knows, even in football, when you're getting hit all the time and banged all the time and they're close to you, even when you're open, you feel like you're not open. Or you rush it a little bit or whatever. And that's what he did in this series. So Look, obviously Kevin Durant's still an all-time great player. I don't ever want to hear that he's the best scorer ever. I just don't. I'm sorry. Like, there's no way he's the best scorer ever. And that's Michael Jordan, period. Because Jordan faced that times 10 in the playoffs when they played in the 90s. So this showed a lot about Kevin Durant had he had to deal with some physicality. And he's a 7-footer who plays a bit smaller than he actually is.
Agreed.
And what in this series, why not? Okay, these quick, long guys like Jason Tatum are guarding you. Can you take one of them in the post?
Thank you.
Can you take Tatum in the post? Couldn't do it. You're a 7-footer. Can't do it. And so, you know, this, like I said, the cape was ripped off of Superman. Doesn't mean he's not an all-time great, but we got to start thinking of him a little bit differently.
Yeah, you still he catching on GOAT? He catching up with the GOAT?
No.
Oh, okay.
With Jordan? No,
Skip.
Yes.
I gotta say, don't you think they don't shut down even a 37-year-old LeBron in Boston like they did KD. LeBron would have got his in this series.
I'll give you that, but the Lakers would have gotten swept too.
No, don't do that, Skip. Don't do that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Come on.
They would have got swept in 3.
Yeah. Don't do that, Chris. Don't do that, Chris.
They would have ended it after.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.